Well, I'm here now with Jason Collier at a Banner Health Center, and we're talking today because the Arizona Ironman, for the last time, is happening this year, and you have interesting perspectives to offer. You've ran in it 5 times, hoping to get through a 6th this time as well, but then you've also, worked with people training for it or helped people, dealing with the aftermath of it. So just starting things off, what's been your experience with the Arizona Ironman over the years?
Yeah, it was a life-changing event for me. I think everybody can say that who's done it, who's finished it, or even attempted to do one for that matter. But for me, there always is kind of a why, and people would do that. A lot of people just wonder, like, what is wrong with you?
Right.
I've had people that want to seek therapy for me, and so, that's not my why, but my older 2 kids play club soccer, and it's not a healthy environment sometimes for kids through their parents. And so this was about 15 years ago. I had a coach who came up to me, and all dads were sitting there watching the practice, if you've understood club soccer or any club event. And he just said, hey, you need to leave. Why don't you go and find a hobby? Just do something, but don't be here.
Right.
And so it was kind of the only coach I could listen to do that. And so I just went and started running, got away from practice, 5Ks turned into 10Ks to half marathons. It just kind of escalated. But the beauty of it is that then it became a better relationship with my kids, that I kind of turned the weapon on myself instead of on them, which is an unfortunate part of club sports.
Right.
So,
and then as you get into these Ironmans, when you first started, what was the most surprising aspect as far as maybe what was the most challenging or what was the most enjoyable? What surprised you?
It's tough to do it here, right? So November, comes up pretty quick and it's beautiful right now, but July's not.
Right.
And so it's a lot of early hours, a lot of alarms that start with the number 3. And that's not PM, which is, in case you didn't know, not very popular when you're sleeping next to somebody.
Right.
Laundry is another one. I know that's a strange one, but
yeah.
there is a lot of laundry.
Yeah.
So you have to have a good washing machine, essentially. So
I think that kind of leads me into this then, because when people train for something like this, you're not getting paid to do that. You're not world-class athletes, that's their life. They can have 16-hour train days, that's what they revolve around. But you have to work a pretty crazy schedule, I imagine, here,
sure,
on top of training that. So somebody that's, in similar positions, working whatever kind of job, and they want to train for this, like, what outside of waking up at 3 a.m. do they really need to know, about in order to train for this?
Yeah, I mean, I have plenty of friends who've done it, and they have all different walks of life. I have a friend who's a cop who's done multiple Ironmans. You just kind of have to blend it into your lifestyle. If it kind of becomes what you do, who you are a little bit, then it's a little bit less burdensome. Like today was get up at 3:30, ride 30 miles, go see patients for a half day, go home, ride another 20 miles, and then come here. So you can fit it in.
Right.
But I think it's important to always fall back to the why, because then it just never seems like work. You just, some days are a little tougher than others, but then there's always that lean in to it. So I think people need to be realistic on time. You're devoting about 15 hours maximally a week, sometimes more, on a job, on top of a job. There's only so many hours in the day, right?
Yeah, especially when you've got kids and a family to take care of, and
Yeah.
there's a lot to navigate there.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. In these Ironmans, what's your strength?
I'm a runner for sure.
Okay.
So everything else had to be learned painfully. Swimming is frightening, especially when you're swimming and you're kind of getting grabbed and kicked. That's the one thing that they changed in Ironman that was good. The first couple, it's a mass start. And so you have 2,000 people boxed in, and it's really frightening. Yeah. And so now the last couple that I've done, you just go 2 by 2. And so you're kind of gently going in, and then you figure out your pace upon that. But man, the first couple were just mosh pits, and it was really kind of dangerous for people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How has your medical background here sort of helped maybe guide you in this journey, or potentially others that have been curious, the ones that don't tell you to go to therapy that are curious about getting into it? How has that kind of helped, you develop your training plan along with your coaches and things like that?
It's good. You kind of have a little bit of a competitive advantage with physiology. One of them I never finished, and I got to mile 17 of the marathon, and I feel like my medical background was speaking to me, because when you can't see straight, you can't walk straight, everybody's going to tell you, you got to keep going. And I think my PA brain was telling me, it's over. Right. Live another day. Right. This is just Ironman. I mean, yeah, it's important, but in the broad scheme of things, I do want to be alive at the end of it, right?
Right. So there's limits to it. There is something to say about pushing through it, but there's always a limit. You don't have to cross it. Right?
Exactly. So I think the medical part does help. Nutrition is a huge part of it. You can't really eat bad and keep going back and doing it the next day. So a little bit of that is kind of nice to have that built-in advantage.
Right. Yeah. For somebody that's looking at this, I know it wouldn't be in Arizona in the near future. So what is the process leading up to? I know things really ramp up about 6 weeks before, but I'm assuming there's still a really good amount before that. So what is the process, sort of, not step by step, but in general, what's the process to get to an Ironman?
Yeah, you're kind of an orchestra director. So you're really kind of dealing with the winds and the woods and the brass. And so you're trying to build one, and then the other is kind of going down, and then you're building the other, and the other is going down. So in other words, I just did my longest swim yesterday. 2 weeks before that, I did my longest ride. A week before that, I did my longest run. And so, but you don't want them all kind of coming together, because you're going to do that on race day. So it's just really trying to back up and look at the big picture of it, and really try and figure out when things can scale. I have a whiteboard at home, and that's just kind of a master thing to look at. So it's just kind of adjusting when you're going to be doing things. God forbid you have work to deal with, or family for that matter.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's one of those where, there's certain people, they think, oh, you can just sign up and do this with very minimal, whether it's a marathon or even an Ironman, and it's not the case. There has to be a lot of planning involved if you really want to do it.
There really is. Yeah. You, for the most part, how it was before, you would volunteer, and then you would get an entrance into the next year's. And it was really humbling, because you would see a fair amount of the swimmers that would maybe get halfway through, tap out. People that maybe didn't train as hard. And so but there always is a strange why people stop,
Right.
But many stop after the swim. It's really amazing how many get out of the water and just can't do it.
Right. So that's the hardest part, I feel like, for most people, is probably the swim.
For many. You can't see in Tempe Town Lake, and that is definitely very...
Especially Tempe Town Lake.
Especially beautiful Tempe Town Lake. Very clean.
Yeah, definitely. Very clean. I've been in there a time or two.
Yeah.
Don't always recommend, but for an event like this, why not have that?
That's right. Get your vaccinations.
Right, exactly. On the PA side of things, have you worked with others that have, gone through this, or had, things happen that you've helped them work through at all?
Yeah, I have 2 patients that are Ironmans. One that I hold dear, that is just easy to kind of loosely coach on things. They have their own curriculum, but it's nice to also hear what works for someone else, right? What nutritional plan, or what bike. The bike is a different beast altogether. Yeah. It's a machine, and so there are certain ways you can kind of adjust that to make your life a lot easier. I have one person in particular who I hold dear that is a fellow Ironman who's done it. So.
Right. Knowing that this is now the last one you'll get to run in here in Arizona, do you have a favorite memory of the ones you've been in so far?
Oh, yeah. My kids and wife being there is just magical. It just is. The one thing you talk about with Ironman is when you come through that chute at the end, there's this ethereal feel. And you hear other people talk about it. It's almost like people talking about end of life. But this light just pulls you in. You can't even see it. You can't see the finish line, but other than the light. And so to have your family there at the end, it's pretty magical. Yeah. So it's really just that kind of tribal feeling with my family and my wife at the end.
Gotcha. And have you only ran in Arizona?
Yeah, I've done a couple of half Ironmans in California.
Okay.
I've done some long swims, done some other runs, other places, but Ironman's only in Arizona.
Okay. Are there other states you're looking at now for the future beyond this year, or is this going to be kind of putting it to bed after this?
Are you asking my wife? My wife, when I told my wife, I said, hey, this is the last Arizona Ironman. She goes, good. And so I think she would be fine if I pivot and find something else. And to be fair, this is a nice natural way of it ending.
Right.
And I'll have other things that I can do within endurance sports.
Right.
You know.
I guess really last thing I got then, because it's something that's kind of near and dear to me. You know, I have a dad that's 63 and probably even more active than I am, and I live an active lifestyle, and I've seen the effects that it has on him.
Absolutely.
What are the effects, you know, having this to train for all these years now has had on you, as you know, as far as just being somebody that's still, you know, moving around and doing what you love to do, which is, you know, pretty much anything, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the byproduct of the lifestyle is health, right? That you can't just exercise; it has to be diet. You have to care about your sleep. But then I think the beauty of that is it's an example for my kids. But to be fair, I kind of just wanted to be competitive like my kids were being, right?
Yeah.
I've known my wife since 8th grade. I've always wanted to get her attention. And maybe that's the byproduct of Ironman, is just getting her attention at 53.
Right.
So, yeah, the health is just a great bonus on top of it. And certainly it gives you that.
Well, absolutely. Well, what's your elevator pitch for people to come out and watch an Ironman this year, watch this final one?
Yeah, I mean, to some degree, this started years ago for me. I remember as a kid watching it on ABC Wide World of Sports and just hearing it narrate. And then when someone places the seed and says, you need to think about doing that. Yeah, come out, give a look at it, and it might plant the seed for you. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the time, and good luck.
Jordan. Appreciate it. Thank you.